So, a very good evening, Mr. Ashok, my lecturer. Today I'm going to talk about the presentations of our MAE proposal. So, I'm working on a tenant digital rental resume builder for a comprehensive tenant screening report. Okay, so let's proceed. So today's agenda is talking about the summarize of my findings in the documentation. So these are the key things. As you can see, there are generative research and also the design ideas, everything. Okay. So the second agenda of today's will be talking about the system functionalities, the technical review, and the Gantt chart, everything. Okay. So let's move. Okay, my presenter information is Yukafe TP060711, and I'm taking the mobile app engineering module. Okay, for this intake. So problem context. So as all of us know, tenant screening process is a very critical and essential procedure that every tenant needs to go through before they're renting their house, because landlord worries about they don't want to rent a house to a not reliable person, right? So the traditional manual screening method is very human erroneous, very expensive and efficient on time. Okay, so according to this Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, they say that there are many tenants, there are increment of tenants like relocation costs and high consumptions because of inaccurate screening data. Okay, it also received like 26K complaints from those tenants on tenant screening issues, and almost half of it, and not almost half of it, 65%, sorry, is come from the inaccurate information that happens in the screening reports. Okay, so the tenants are often get rejected due to inaccurate screening report. End up they need to pay extra money and more time to make a new one or remake the report. Okay, so all right. So my research question towards this problem context is actually, I'm wondering what kind of techniques that the tenant screening are currently being utilized by the landlords, and how effective are those screening identify high quality tenants, and what kind of standard or guidelines does they follow when conducting the tenant screening? Does the government have like special guidelines, or they usually just look at the factors like credit check, background check, or financial check? Okay. And also I'm wondering what type of tenants applicants does landlord often rejected, maybe criminal background or something. And also I was wondering like what kind of information does the tenant include in their portfolio in order to gain more trust or distinguish themselves from other tenants. Okay. And lastly, I would like to know that how does the tenant organize their rental information for their screening process, and how effective like software tools like CTOS. Okay. Usually they have used CTOS for background check. Okay, for safety purposes. Okay. So let's move to the research method. Sorry, my screen is blocking. And research method, I use two research method, which is semi-structured interview and contextual inquiry. For semi-structured interview, I believe is conduct an open-end interview with specific groups of people. For this scenario, we find property agencies and tenant for our user groups, and we will ask them about their opinions or how they going to react on certain questions. And for contextual inquiry, we will actually prepare a screening scenario, and we would like to observe, or see how they will react or their in the situation of the contextual inquiry. Okay. So let's move to sample size. So based on all the survey, okay, we have successfully collected 8 sample size in total. 6 people chosen the semi-structured interview and 2 people chosen the contextual inquiry, which is 70% and 25%. Okay. So let's move to the participant details. So we have collected data from 6 property professionals and 2 tenants overall the survey. Although it doesn't seem a lot, but the information they have provided for me is very rich and also very important. Okay, so throughout the whole survey, we don't face any difficult issues or particular problems. So the limitation is no. Okay. All right. So novelty of research idea. So what makes the idea so special from the current available in the market? So I would say the idea is still very new, okay, but there are actually one company have already implemented similar idea which is the rent.com.australia. Okay, it's the Australia's biggest renting website. So what makes us distinguish ourselves from them is actually we are actually target Asian user groups. Okay, there for I will take few examples from the rent.com you will see later on, and I would like to mention that our software is more specific on targeting Asian user groups. We customize based on the local Malaysian government's policy. What information should we collect? What what are the things that we shouldn't collect? Different countries have different policies. Um, of course, we have better UX, design, and personalization on the information part, and as well as we eliminate complicated processes, time and cost. Okay, some country they are require very strictly like this process cannot be missing, but we know that we are more the new idea is much more efficient compared to those way. Later on, I will emphasize more. Okay, so for this is the example of brand.au.com. So as you can see there are something that we don't usually know, like check NTD records. Or the NTD means for National Database of Australia. Okay, agent endorsement. Okay, sorting out your utilities. So these are the things that we usually don't need for our tenant screening process in most of the Asian country. It could be reason that we have lesser awareness of tenant screening, okay, compared to most of the Western and European country. So also you can see that they are require you to fill up some residential history, your identification, as well as your driving license, medical cards, all this sort of stuff. Okay, so our proposed system Trezume, we actually already done in a web base. So we're thinking to convert it into a mobile application version. So as you can see, this is much more nicer. And the information here are being customized. We don't collect any sensitive information from the users. So tenant will be feel more secure and more willing to open up their issues, their information during the tenant screening process. Okay. So let's move to affinity analysis. So based on the research, we have conducted the two methods. Okay, we have collected 89 quotes. Okay, directly from the tenants and the professionals, and also after analyzing, I actually generated 17 statements, and also the 17 statement for the second level notes and 3 statement for the third level notes. Okay, so I will go through. So for the second level notes, I think it's too much to brief it all. Okay, considering time issues, I will only brief the first three. Okay, so the first three is actually based on the first level. I know that most property agencies are utilizing paperwork or still using the manual process, such as Excel, to conduct the tenant screening process. Okay, and property agencies are required to provide a comprehensive screening report for landlord to make educated decision after the screening process. Then the third one is actually property agency encounter lack of cooperation and inaccurate information provided by the tenant during the screening process. Some tenants, they are reluctant to provide their personal details as they don't believe. It could be the reason that they don't believe in third parties companies. Okay, so I won't go into brief all, but these are my findings from the first level notes. Okay, if sir too interested to know more, sir can pause the video and look at it. But a detailed document is actually prepared. Okay, so you can also look into my document. So the third level notes, I based on the second level notes, I can sum up the most of the property agencies should be able to collect and verify the provided tenant detail, also ensuring them feeling comfortable to participate the screening session proactively and truthfully. Okay, property agencies should be able to maintain their professionalism by being non-biased and follow exactly a proper available guidelines that have set by the local governments when conducting screening process. And the third one is tenants should be able to have the rights to provide the information they are comfortable throughout the screening process. Okay, so let's move to the, okay, this is the sample of how I group all the codes, the first level nodes, second level nodes, and third level nodes. Okay, I categorize using the words. Yeah, the words, correct. Yep. Okay, so let's move to user behaviors. So the system is actually very straightforward and direct. Okay, we use the tenant will be using to build comprehensive and professional tenant resume for their tenant pre-screening. Okay, landlord will use it to review and verify the information on the resume. Okay, so design ideas. Okay, I have generated five. I think got 10 design ideas if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we got 9 design ideas, but I think I will go through the first one. So we are thinking to implement a mobile apps that is user-friendly layouts and allow the tenant to hang on, sorry. 1 second here. Allow the tenants to effortlessly to navigate and generate their tenant resume. Okay, we need a hyperlink after they completed their resume. They have a hyperlink or sharing option to share to their landlord, property agencies, or anyone they trust. Okay, and also we need a customized header, like we can change the style, the color of their resume, and also the theme. Okay, so we need to personalize the information sections. Okay, some tenants that do smoke, some tenants that have pets. Okay, so they can personalize. Okay, whether they want a pet session or they don't want it. Okay, tenant can provide their resume with another. Yeah, so this one is the one that I just briefed. Okay, so the tenant resume comes with a sections that another design ideas that is sections that allow landlord to provide their reviews, the previous landlord. Okay, let's say this tenant is very bad. Okay, the landlord can provide some feedback on the tenant resume. Okay, the tenant comes with a completion progress bar, which means that after they're setting up, they have a completion bar. The higher the completion bar or the rate, which indicating that the tenant are more willing to share more. Okay, so the tenant resume include a CTOS or third-party financial background credit reports. Okay, it would be a good feature to have a CTOS verify reports on their session, and also a PDF generator. Some landlord that prefer PDF for future reference, so I think it's good to include it. Okay, so key use case. Okay, this one is similar to the user behavior, and the tenant usually will go through the tenant screening process that need to generate a customized, eye-catchy, professionals and comprehensive tenant resume and share to the landlord. So this app will help them to do all of this, okay, as well as making sure their information is verified. And the property landlord, their responsibilities using this app is actually, although they are not primary user of this app, okay, but they will look at their resume, they will access their resume as a guest, and they will review it and give some feedback. Okay, so the whole purpose of the system is actually aiding the tenant screening process. Okay, so system functionalities, let me hide this. And the tenant should be able to create a new account and log in an existing account. The tenant should be able to manage a default information section, such as their personal information, employment, education, status, and personal reference to create, rate, update, and delete operations. The tenant should be able to enable more additional information section like smoking and pets. The tenant should be able to personalize their team header. The person should be able to generate a hyperlink and share it with the potential landlord. The tenant should be able to generate a PDF version of their resume for special requests. the tenant should be able to navigate through home, resume, and setting page. The tenant should be able to log out from the account. So this is the functionalities for tenant, while for landlords, the landlord should be able to access the hyperlink as a guest or PDF version for review purposes during the pre-screening process. Okay, so let's talk about assumptions. So we always assume that the tenant have a register an account and log in to access the system functionalities. The default information included basic information, employment, education, personal reference, unless the tenant want to enable more additional sessions. The default color of the resume header is orange. Text color code is FF63477. Okay, the URL will be generated if only the tenants click on the generating button for sharing purpose. So the landlord and property agency will be reviewing their resume as a guest that doesn't require any login. This is my system assumptions. All right. So for the color scheme, okay, we use, as mentioned, the hex code orange, our primary color, which is tomato, and our BG color is actually white. And for the pink color, which is you can see is like a bootstrap danger color. Is for those buttons who are accessing the sensitive information, like they are deleting their account. So the button will be shown in a red color. Okay. So the reason why you might ask the reason why we choose orange is actually this color is very similar to most of the property colors like Airbnb, Property Gurus. So we decided to choose orange. Okay. So our app wireframe a bit lots, but no worries. We have a splash screen, welcome screen, login and sign up screen, and also the main resume screen. Okay, their settings screen, their home screen, and also their sharing screen. This is the main resume screen. Sorry, these are some sort of additional screen. Okay, and also we have the editing screen, like what kind of data will show when they're editing, and sharing screen. It will generate a link for them to share, and also, yeah, their screen. Okay. So technical oops, sorry. So for technical requirements, we have Android Studio, the latest version, Electric U, okay, updated, I think just latest, updated previously, and also the Android SDK version API 91 Lollipop with supported 99.3 devices. Okay, so design pattern, the model view model patterns, okay, which is much more the design pattern actually simplifies the parallel development between the UI and the model, the business logic, and it makes the code more manageable and facilitate unit testing. Okay, so for the database, I'm using Firebase data storing and authentication purpose. Okay, and additional libraries and tools, I use Android Jetpack, the Jetpack composed for the UI of the system. Okay. So task and milestone, as you can see, the task and milestone are clearly stated over here. So as you can see, the first half is actually completed, which include the proposal, the meeting date, everything. And while the rest of the second part, right, is actually the actual implementation of the mobile apps, which developing the UI, the back end, testing the system, hosting the system in the Play Store, okay, and the final documentation. Okay, so these are the things that we haven't completed, and we have a clear deadline when should be the thing complete. Okay. All right. So task and milestone. This is another similar thing, but it's a Gantt chart. Okay. The Gantt chart actually more detailed, like which part I separate into a more detailed part. As you can see that the current milestone is over here, which is the proposal already being submitted. Okay. And what I need to do is start from the below, and the deadline is actually 4th of June. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So I think that's all. Thank you for your listening. Thank you, sir, Mr. Ashad. Yeah, that's all.